Picture this. It's 9:47 p.m. and you're finally sitting down after a day that felt like running a marathon in quicksand. And you just want 5 minutes of peace. And then you see it. Maybe it's the fresh fire red engine marker streak on the living room wall. Maybe it's the special treats box you hid on the top shelf, now lying empty on the floor. You call your kid in, you point to the evidence. Literally, the marker is in their hand or the chocolate smeared all over their face. And then you ask the $1,000,000 question. Did you do this? They freeze, their eyes go wide, and with the straightest face imaginable, they look you dead in the eye and say, "No, it wasn't me." Now, if I asked you what the most triggering behavior in your house is, you might blurt out the yelling or maybe the meltdowns. But if we're honest, and if we grabbed a coffee, looked at the real data, it's the quiet stuff that often leaves the deepest bruise. It's the lying. And I know what it feels like. It feels like betrayal. It feels like gaslighting, and your brain instantly spirals. If they lie this effortlessly about a silly marker, where or what are they going to hide when they're 16 and they're holding a set of car keys? So what do? Typically, we react, right? We lecture, we punish, we demand the truth right there on the spot. But guess what? The lying doesn't stop, does it? It just goes underground. Our kids don't become more honest, they become better architects at deception. So, welcome to the Rewired Parent. Hey, I'm Dr. David, and today we're going to put on some night vision goggles on the lying cycle. And I promise you that by the end of this episode, you're going to understand exactly why your child lies to your face. And I'm going to give you the first steps to pulling the plug on it without turning your home into an interrogation room. Okay. So let's talk about the shift. Let's talk about the tigers and the squirrels. We're going to shift gears here. So I need you to hear me loud and clear on this one. If you take nothing else away from today, this is what you need to take away. Lying is not a character flaw, it's a safety response. Let me say that one more time. Make sure you get it. Nothing else. Lying is not a character flaw, it's a safety response. When you catch your neurodivergent child in a lie, you immediately see a moral failing. You see defiance. But what if we were to zoom into their nervous system, their brain and their nerves? Their nervous system would be screaming, alert, life threat incoming, take action. So, this is polyvagal theory in action. Think of your child's brain like a house. Upstairs, you have the prefrontal cortex, the kind of CEO of the executive functioning where logic, morality, truth telling, all of that live. But downstairs on the floor level, first floor level, you have the amygdala, you have the survival brain, the smoke detector and fire alarm. And it's like the panicked squirrel. So when you ask, did you do this with that, that look of disappointment in your eye or that sharp edge on your voice, their nervous system goes full danger mode. The CEO, the executive function, gets overwhelmed. And as Dr. Dan Siegel says, they flip their lid and the panic squirrel takes over. And so that lie then, that I didn't do it, it's not a calculated plot twist from a spy movie. It's a freeze response. Remember, we have fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. In this case, this is a freeze response. It's the knee-jerk reflex, just like blinking when a bug flies right in your face, right? They're they're not trying to manipulate you in that moment. They're trying to build a wall between themselves and this emotional Armageddon of shame or punishment. Now, if you were to look up traditional parenting advice or maybe ask some of your older relatives, they would tell you you must punish the lie swiftly and severely. And you make the consequence for lying double the crime so that you show them this is serious and that this will never happen again. And we're taught, you teach them about honesty, that honesty is always the best policy. Now, it sounds logical, right? But let's look at the mechanics of what's actually happening when you do that. So put yourself back into your 8-year-old self. Think about a time you lied. You probably lied because your brain felt unsafe. Now, again, I know there's times you lied because you wanted to get what you wanted, but most of the cases you lied because right now you felt unsafe. Maybe you felt like you were going to get punished or you disappointed someone or yeah, whatever the case. And then the punishment comes. So you lost the access to your Atari 2600. Yeah, I'm dating myself, right? You couldn't use the landline, whatever the case is. Probably for some of us, you'd lose the iPad or your phone, get grounded, get the lecture. So, what message does that send to your nervous system? It says, see, I was right. Telling the truth isn't safe. The adult is the threat. So you're not teaching honesty. What you're doing is you're validating their fear and you're training them to be stealthier ninjas. And I can remember talking with the dad a few years back who had caught his son with a broken Lego set. And I can relate to this because, my kids like Legos and I like building Legos. And this dad just blew up, started lecturing, punishing. I mean, it's just like flowing out, right? And you know what happened? His son didn't stop breaking things. Rather, he started building his Lego at 2 a.m. in the morning in the dark because that was the safest way to play. And dad didn't know about it. So punishment doesn't build bridges, it burns them. So you say, Dr. Palmer, come on, David, do we just let him get away with it? Do we become those permissive parents who let them lie and don't care? And all I have to say to you is hell no. We are not giving in. We're not throwing in the towel, but we're getting smarter. In fact, I would say it this way, we're getting wiser. We're gaining nervous system wisdom because you cannot demand integrity from a nervous system when it is in that moment locked in survival mode. So what is the prerequisite for truth? You got it. Safety. You build the stairs. And I'm going back to my interview a few weeks ago with Davina from A Steady Space. And we talked about this. And she talked about an illustration with one of her children. And they built this code word system basically all around the stairs. And you can go back and listen to that podcast and get the whole context of what she was saying because it was pretty freaking awesome. But you think about it, you're imagining your child is digging themselves deeper and deeper into a hole with a lie. And so if you think about it this way, and they're in this deep hole now, right? Again, traditional parenting stands at the top of the hole and starts yelling, you climb out right now or you're going to be in big trouble. But what do we have to do? We have to build the stairs. We have to create the steps. We have to lower the ladder. We have to make it safe for them to be able to come up for air and not feel trapped in this huge hole. That means it doesn't start with them. It starts with you. It starts with your regulated nervous system. So you have to regulate your voice and drop this prosecutor tone. You have to become a collaborator. Instead of saying, I know you did it, just admit it, you say, hey, I noticed the marker on the wall. First of all, I want you to know that I am not mad. Now, again, you may be on the inside, you may be upset, but you're giving them cues of safety. I want you to understand what happened. Why? So that we can fix it together. You give them that moment of safety. You say to the panicked squirrel, it's okay. We're safe right now. So why? So that CEO, that prefrontal cortex can come back online. And when it brain feels safe, the truth becomes not only morally possible, I guess to say, but physically, physiologically possible. Now, I know that This is a huge shift in our thinking. And I know that in the heat of the moment, when you're staring at that broken lamp or you're checking the screen time report and you see that there's a lot of sneaky screen time going on, you confront and you know they're just going to lie. I know it's hard to know exactly what to say. So that's why I'm doing something special because this is a big deal. This is a big deal to me. This is a big deal because this is what I faced growing up when I told a lie. And I wish I had better safety mechanisms in place. I'm doing this because I've had to learn this the hard way with my children and my students. And I believe that this is something that every parent, especially parents of neurodivergent kids, needs to get a hold of. So on Tuesday night, February 3rd, I'm going to be hosting a live ground level boot camp workshop called the Truth Protocol, which is not going to be some kind of fluffy webinar where I talk at you for an hour. This is going to be, again, on the ground training. This is the boot camp for building honesty in your home. So here's what you're going to get. In the workshop, I'm going to hand you the scripts that you need, or the at least the frames you need to use when you catch a lie mid-flight, show you how to handle it when they double down on the lie, and show you how to use the stairs method to repair trust. And we're going to shatter the shame spiral that keeps us all stuck. And so the tickets are coming. They're actually open right now. You can go to my website at drdavidapalmer.com/truth-protocol. I'll put the link in the show notes for you. So that way you can just click it and head on over to it. And I was thinking, how much would I be able to offer this for? $20. That's it. $20 for 1 hour of interaction and tools plus lifetime ability to go back and review it and so on and so forth. So that's less than, at least in my family, it's less than family pizza night, which is tonight, it's Thursday. So $20, less than a month of Netflix. But for $20, you can get the tools to transform the culture of your home to a culture of trust that lasts a lifetime. So let me give you some homework before we sign off. One, set an alarm on your phone so that you are a reminder to make sure that you head over and you grab your spot to this bootcamp webinar. Also, if you are not on my email list, I'm also going to put the link in the show notes to my Instagram and my email. And let me tell you, you're going to want to be the first in line to this because I'm only doing it once and I'm going to keep this group focused so that we can do the real work. So as we think about that today, ditch the punishments that fuel the fear, build connection, build safety that will unlock real lasting truth. It says, I know that what I did was wrong. I know that there are consequences to my action, but I also know I can tell you the truth because I know when I do so, I'll be safe because we're connected and we're regulated together and we can figure this out. So, with that, hey, you got this. And I will see you live on Zoom in the workshop on February 3rd. It's going to be at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Again, all the information is in the show notes. And so this is Dr. David. You've just been rewired. We'll catch you next time.